Okay, so this video is in support of lesson 3.1, and I want to talk a little bit specifically about the interviewing a worker activity. So if you go to lesson 3.1, it is towards the end. It's a possible enrichment. So what is this activity about interviewing a worker? So I would tell your students that what we're hoping they will do is to take some time and find someone that they really believe respects and loves their work. So it could be a parent, it could be a relative, and it could be someone that they just happen to know outside of your family. So maybe it's a coach, maybe it's someone in a local store owner, who really seems engaged in their activity. Maybe it is um, a doctor they happen to know. Maybe it's a teacher. It could be anyone who they think they really get the impression that that person enjoys and um, loves their work. And it also should be somebody that they respect. Ask that person for 15 to 20 minutes of their time, and then here are just a few sample questions that they can ask. And I would encourage them, if they think of other questions that they're curious about, to include those as well. But be respectful of the person's time and take good notes. So it could be recorded using their phones or some other kind of technology, or they could also do written notes. I personally would suggest both, because sometimes you think you're recording and you're not recording. So the questions are things like, what influences are most important to how you do your work? They could be factors like family or activities that you take part in. What influences how you do your work? Who has had the greatest influence on your work? Do you have a mentor? How does that person impact you? Um, how do you make really important decisions about your work when you're not sure what to do? Who do you go to for advice? Could you give me an example of a time when someone you knew was unhappy at work? What was the situation? Why do you think they were unhappy? And what advice did you give them? Or what advice do you wish you had given them? There are other questions you could ask as well. How did you end up doing the work that you're doing? Have you ever done something else, and why did you leave that work? What inspires you in your work? So there are lots of questions to ask, and being a curious person, I could keep coming up with them, but I would encourage your students to think about additional questions and maybe try to get to what is it about your work that you enjoy so much. And then we offer a variety of different ways for them to report back on that. Once they've taken good notes, they could certainly write a one-page blog. Um, they could create a PechaKucha, something I really can't pronounce, but there's a link here. It's a live link you could go to, and there are lots of examples about what a PechaKucha is. It's really about um, choosing a series of images and putting them together and telling a story. So they could do that with their notes as well. They could create a short film, or also create a graphic organizer or notes. We want to offer a variety of different ways for students to present back. So those who love to write have the opportunity to write. Those who don't have other opportunities to express what they've learned. So I just want to say that others who have done this activity in the past have found it really valuable to get outside of the classroom and to reflect with someone about their work. So if it's something you think your students will have time for, I highly encourage it. So thanks, and we look forward to hearing about your students' experiences.